Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's that time again. It's that time. It's uh October the 6th, 2020. We're running a little late today. We're running a little late. As you guys seen, I had some earlier videos live that I was doing while I was out and about, so kind of threw us a little bit behind on our time. But we're here today. We're here live and direct with another episode of Life and Love in the Philippines. This is a weekly show that we do every week for the people that are interested in traveling to the Philippines or moving to the Philippines or have just a particular interest in the Philippines. We come at you every week with this show where we hope we bring you some great information. We hope that you learn. So, like I said, tell a friend to tell a friend. Um, Make sure y'all share this video to people, especially the people that's, like I said, have an interest in coming to the Philippines. Share this video so they can learn because this is what it's all about over here on this channel and on this show. Is we have fun and we learn at the same time. Share experience with you guys. We got great people here with the experience to talk about it. Of course, you know me, Black American Expat. I spent over 3 years over in the Philippines. Spent some time there. You know what I'm saying? Had my ups and my downs, trials and errors, and I learned a whole lot in that time period. I knew a lot when I got off the airplane, and I learned a lot through experience in the Philippines. Also, we have our co-host Sunshine Shoulder. I guess he go by the name of Calvin. I'm gonna say Calvin. That's better. Sunshine Shoulders was a lot more. We got our co-host Calvin. He got a channel called Sunshine Shoulders. Check him out. He got like over 11 years of experience there. I'm gonna let him tell you himself. Tell him about you, Calvin, and also tell him about your channel and what your mission is.
Okay. Yeah, I'm Calvin. I'm from the Louisville, Kentucky. I'm 57 years old, and I've been here in the Philippines for about 11 years. And it doesn't make me an expert, but it gives me a unique perspective. And I just try to help that. Use that to help the new man or woman, maybe an expat over here having trouble. But my YouTube channel is Sunshine Shoulders, and it's geared more toward the newbie, the new man or woman who's never been to the Philippines and is contemplating coming over. Not just share, my insight and perspective on, so you can avoid a lot of the problems that I had when I first came over here. And when you hit the ground in Manila or Cebu, you can hit it running. So come on over, check me out, man. It's a fun channel, man. It's informative, and I want everybody to get involved. So I'm just sharing my information. That's all. And I always like to tell you that I'm boots on the ground. I'm right in the center of all of this. I'm not on the edges like a lot of these vloggers, in these fancy hotels and Airbnbs and condos, looking down on the local and giving you his play-by-play. No, I'm going to give you the nitty-gritty. And all that is, what I'm seeing, what I'm living, what I'm experiencing here. Okay, and it's for your benefit. And it's all free. So come by and check me out, man. And I'm never going to sugarcoat my information for views, for subscribers, anything like that, because it's not going to do you any good. Okay, I want to give you a true perspective of what to expect when you get here, man. And that's what I'm all about. So thanks to Jay for letting me come on again today. I really appreciate it.
Had the mute button on. No problem, man. You know you're a part of the show. You're the co-host of the show. And this guy, like I said, he know a whole lot. I think he's living in the province right now. He don't sugarcoat it either. We the Lion Squad. We hold it down. We strong. We got the strength, and we got the experience. Like I said, we're not experts, but we are expats. We're not experts. We are expats, trying to help you guys along your way and your journey. In particular, on this show, the Philippines. We do this every Tuesday. At the same time, we geared toward like 9, but I was running a little late this time. So please forgive me. But like we got another great show for you guys. It's gonna be a great classic show, full of information. If you guys haven't been over to his channel, Sunshine Shoulder, you need to go over and subscribe. This guy got solid information. He got that real information, not the watered down information. You got people that reading books or looking at other people's blogs, taking their ideas. This is stuff. This man speaking from experience, and he been there for a long time, like over 11 years. So like I said, we're gonna do the best we can to help you guys along the way. If you guys got any comments you want to come on, and you want to join the panel with us on this evening, I'm going to put the link out so you guys have invitation to come on. But today we're going to be talking about, in particular, the cost of living in the Philippines. The cost of living in the Philippines. Let me say it one more time. Let me say it like Umar Johnson 3 times. One more time. The cost of living in the Philippines. We're going to talk about that today. So you guys have any questions or anything you want to address to us, make sure you hit us up in the chat, or you can come on the panel and do it directly. But I think there's one thing that draw people to the Philippines. A lot of people come for the women, the mother, but in particular, so many people come, Calvin, for the cost of living. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I'm not in the province, by the way. I'm actually in a
Okay.
municipality. It's a small
Oh,
second
okay.
class city here, Negros Occidental. But yeah, you're right. But when I said cost of living, Jay, here's what I was talking about. Your cost of living, the cost you're going to incur when you come over here in the Philippines on a day-by-day basis as the breadwinner. Because when you get off the plane, especially this is for people who are meeting somebody over here. You're the breadwinner when you get off the plane, and there's some things, some terms that we as Americans, because I can only speak for Americans, that we may have to get out of our system, like trick, sugar daddy, sucker, you know, uh, different things like that. Because see, this isn't America, man. When you get over here, this is really a third world country, man. I don't care how fancy the videos you be watching about the Philippines and the different vlogs and stuff, man. People are struggling over here, and especially now because of the pandemic. So when you get off that plane and you meet that woman, man, she's going to need some things, and that's what I'm talking about, the cost of living. I mean, but if y'all want to talk about how much my rent is or how much rent you expect to pay and your electric bill and all that, we can do that. But I'm talking about the cost that you're going to incur on a daily basis living here on your vacation here. So that's what I want to kind of clear up.
Okay. And that's cool. So we could touch on a whole different variety of things
Yeah.
dealing with the cost of living because there's so many different ways we could look at this. And I'm sure you guys, like I said, whatever, like you have any suggestions in the comments in the comment section, you can put it there. But we're gonna try to look at the like the different costs. We're gonna look at it from different angles. We don't look at it from one angle. We look at it from different angles here. We have broad ways of looking at things because it's more than one way to skin a cat. And also, it's like more ways to look at stuff. Sometimes people look at stuff one sided, but we're gonna have different perspectives of this. So, like I said, we're gonna share with you guys. I'm gonna let Kevin start off though. Since this he picked the topic for this week, we alternate topics, and this is the topic that he chose. I'm gonna let him elaborate and let him start it off, and I'm gonna join in with him. You can go ahead, Calvin.
Um, like you said, Jay, and you were right on the money. What draws a lot of people here is the low cost of living. And of course, the women and everything. But I always tell people this, and this is from experience, man. I didn't know this when I got over here. But, you know, there's some clearly defined roles in the Philippines for the man and for the woman. Uh, you know, having relationships in America is kind of different because, the woman may earn more money than you. She may have you may live with her. She's got her own car. She's so independent. But see, over here it's different. And I know a lot of us, as Americans, especially because we've been through the ringer, you know, we discouraged against helping women. We think that that's a sign of weakness. But I'm telling you, man, when you come over here, this isn't America. And that's what I want to make it clear to you. A lot of times we got to get rid of some of that American thinking. Not all of it, because some of it does us some good. But when it comes to the woman, when you get off that plane and you first see her, man, look at her feet, look at her shoes. Okay, it's going to tell you what you're dealing with. My wife wore the same pair of shoes uh, all 4 years of high school. Okay, so it kind of gives you an indication of what you're going to be dealing with over here. Don't take it as if you're some kind of sugar daddy or some kind of sucker or you a trick or something like that. No, that's the role that we have to play as men over here. Okay, because she's going to play her role and she's going to play it better than anyone's ever played it. But we have to play our role. So it's going to be some things she's going to need when you get here. Shoes. She's going to need underwear, bra. You know, um, she's going to need, probably for you to, uh, because if you look at one of my, let me back up a little bit. If you look at one of my videos, I talk about, don't be cheap in the Philippines. This is the worst place in the whole entire world to be cheap. Okay, and I talk about the woman and, women over here, man, they wear a lot of hats. They work hard, man. They work their fingers to the bone, okay, for very little pay. So they feel unappreciated. So when we come over here, see, as Americans, that's why, Filipinos and Americans, that's why we get along so well. They give us what we need, that attention and everything that we seek, that we don't get anymore over there. And we give them what they need, okay? We make them feel appreciated, man. We spoil them. And it's not going to cost you a whole lot of money, man. It's really going to be, imagine a manicure and a pedicure over here is only $1. Okay, so send her to the hair salon, man. Get her hair fixed, get it washed. Take her to the mall, buy a few things, man, because she's never going to ask you to do that, but she's going to expect you to do that. So I just want to kind of start that off like that because, but let me give American men credit. We usually do that anyway, but I'm just letting you know that if you don't know that, that's the role you're going to have to play when you get over here. And don't feel bad about it. Don't feel like you're being used, you're a sucker, trick daddy, sugar daddy or something like that, okay? It's just, people are struggling over here, man, and that's your role over here. You want to unlock, if you want to be the key to unlock that treasure, man, you got to play your role.
Right. You hitting on some points right there. Some good points you hitting on. Cause a lot of people come over and they don't have like any resources sometimes and looking for something for nothing. Not an even exchange or anything like that. Just something for nothing because they know what the cost of living there is cheap. And sometimes they feel like they coming over there getting a woman that's gonna be the maid and the sex slave, cooking and fucking all day. That's all. It's like, but the women not getting nothing out of it. She can get penis anywhere. She can get it from the locals if that's what she wanted. But she looking for something different. And you, as the guys, you're looking for something different too. But you guys, a lot of guys come there that's not ready. They don't have the income for the relationship. I've seen guys, there's bloggers that $500 a month type situation, how you moving place to place. You'll never have a quality girlfriend. You're like, if they're gonna leave every month, you're gonna get a different one. It's gonna be hard to keep someone like that because you don't have any money. They can have a local and do work or do bad by themselves. So you gotta be bringing something to the table. Also, the woman had to be bringing something to the table. It got to be like an equal exchange type situation. Like you happy, and she happy. You're not the only one happy, but she happy too. You both happy because you both getting something out of it. Because in a relationship, you want to benefit. You want to benefit. She want to benefit. You both. It should be beneficial to both. If it's beneficial to both, then you got a happy relationship. You got a good relationship. No problem. But if you're the only one benefiting and she losing, or if it's the other way around, that's a no-go. That's not a good place to be. So I think both people, if you got a woman that's not doing these things, you got a woman that's not taking care of you, you know what I mean? You can find one easily over there that can. No problem. I mean, very easy. But a lot of guys get off the airplane thinking that they're gonna come over there and just take advantage of the women and just the lady glad she got a place to stay, somewhere to eat and sleep. That sometimes they're not enough. She wanted to be entertained too. Because when they dating a foreigner, they expecting to have a better life. That's their expectation is to have a better life. And some of their friends are dating foreigners right now. They going to the resort, they're going to the beaches, they traveling, having a great time. But then let's say she get with you, the broke foreigner. Her friends gonna laugh at her. They gonna call them the less fortunate because they expect that she should have the same lifestyle also. But she traveling, going to the beach, everybody benefiting. But if you just thinking that you're gonna just stay in a hotel room or stay in a house and they're gonna keep you together and she cooking and cleaning and fucking you, you think they're gonna make her happy? Hell no. And that's just 100. That's just some real stuff right there. She's not gonna be happy. You might be happy, but not for a long time. They're gonna play out, my friend. That's gonna play out. You're gonna have problems. She's gonna be tampering on your ass every day. You're gonna be wondering why she upset. And then she's gonna leave your ass. Then you're gonna be on the rebound looking for another one. I mean, so you gotta bring something to the table, like have something to offer. And this should be both ways. You have anything to say, Kevin? I know.
Yeah, for exchange, for oh,
Hey
okay,
guys,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you, Jerry.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Hope everybody's doing
I
well.
hear you. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, you definitely got to bring something to the table. Because if you broke coming to the Philippines, man, go home. You know, this ain't a place really for you to be. I mean, there are guys that come out here. If you got enough money for you, the first thing you got to do is you got to figure out if you got enough money to live for yourself. But then you got to factor in if you're gonna have a girlfriend or a wife, you're gonna need some extra money. Because again, you know, there's so many things to do here that doesn't cost a lot of money. And kind of, you know, women expect that here, as you guys were talking about. You know, I mean, my wife's real cool. She's not a gold digger or anything, you know, but, you know, I got it, you know, it's nice to go to resorts or nice to go to a restaurant and stuff like that. And we have a good time. But if you're just going to sit around at home all day long because your budget defines that's all you can do, then you're going to go through some women, you know. Unless it's a big age gap. If it's a big age gap relationship, you better have some extra money, or else you're gonna be going through a lot. But that's another story in itself. But yeah, you gotta have some money. I mean, it's anywhere. If you go to any foreign country, you really should figure out if you can afford it or not, you know, before you actually go there.
Right. You had
And I
anything
think
you
a
want
lot.
to say on it, Calvin?
Yeah, he hit it on the nose. You know, he made some great points because you know, as Americans, and I'm like I said, I always keep it on America because I'm not hip to how Europeans and all those act, but we tend to think that uh, everybody thinks the same, or everything's the same way as it is in America, but it's not. You know, man, we're in a whole different hemisphere over here. It's a whole different culture, and I just wanted to kind of put that out there because we'll bring our American thinking over here, you know, and we'll think, oh well, she only wants me because I'm good looking and you know, I've got a nice body, I'm
Forget about all
built up real nice, and but no,
that. Yeah,
you know,
you forget.
this is a cultural thing that I'm talking about, and it's unthinking for you to come to the Philippines, do some little research on the Philippines before you come over here and see people over here are struggling, man. This isn't America. I mean, for you to come over and think you just going to lay around and be a playboy, man, you might as well not even come over. But like I said, I give American men credit because 9 times out of 10 we do that. This is just the conversation for somebody who doesn't who's never been here before, who thinks that, who doesn't know this information, rather?
Well, there's a lot of bad information out there, first of all. So that's one of the problems in our community, and it's probably in other communities too, like Thailand and probably other countries too. But there's a lot of, I should say, yeah, bad info. So a lot of guys might follow certain channels thinking that the info is good, but it's up to you to differentiate between what's good info and what's bad info. And I think a lot of people lack some kind of skills. But if you have that kind of skill, you can tell what's good and what's bad from the bad, then you'll be successful. You don't need tons and tons of money or any of that. So you just need some certain skills. Common sense is one.
Right. I'm gonna ask you, Jerry. I know you wasn't on the panel earlier. But I want to ask you a question. Like, I know the cost of living, low cost of living, is what draw a lot of people there because you can live there on very little. I'm gonna ask you a question. How little should you live on? How little? Like people said, you can live on very little. How little can one live on? Jerry, Jerry, did you hear me? All right, did you guys hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Okay, did you say something, Jeff? Yeah, I can hear you
Y'all hear
now.
me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, did you hear the question? I didn't think Jerry did, but I'm gonna ask you the question. People say you can live on very little in the Philippines. How little can you live on? How little can one live on in the Philippines?
Well, my here's my train of thought. At least have $1,000, $1,000 per month. That's the lowest I would say to try to live on over here, and be comfortable. That way you can save a little something and then you'll have that for an emergency. But anything less than that, man,
You can
you're
live on very
really
little. Can one
uh,
live on?
you're really pushing it. You're really pushing it on the edge. And then it depends on, are you by yourself? Are you with the woman? Or does she have children?
Right.
But I would say,
These are things you have to
you
look
can
at. A
live
lot of
here
people don't look at
comfortably.
that. You know what I mean? Sorry about that. I got bumped off. Can you guys hear
You
me?
can live off.
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you guys hear me? Because I got bumped off. I don't know if I'm back on or not.
Yeah, we can hear
Okay,
you.
sorry about that. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah,
Oh,
Calvin.
well, what I was saying is, if you're single over here by yourself, you could easily get away with $800 or $900. Um,
Right.
and it just, when you talk about cost of living, man, it's like apples and oranges because it just depends on where you live in the Philippines, man. The Philippines is vast. It's
Right.
very diverse. So it's
You know what?
where you live, how you live. Your bills. Let's keep it on bills. Can we keep it on bills?
Yeah.
Your bills are not going to come anywhere near $1,000. My bills, just my bills. I'm talking about my rent, my electric, my water, and my food is about $500, man. Okay, but
Yeah. You know what?
you got to factor in your lifestyle.
Right. We come in at around. I don't know if you guys saw my budget videos. We do. We were doing it monthly, but now we do it every 3 months. And the worst we had, it's going to be last month. But I haven't done that video yet because I got a couple more bills coming in, before I do the last 3 months. And that one went over 1,000. I think that's the second time in 13 months that I went over 1,000. But I had to switch to a tourist visa. So in last month, I had to put out like 200.
Okay, I think he froze again. Think he
Yeah.
froze. Yeah, he freezing
But you know
out. It's his internet
your
connection.
food is gonna vary. Your food is gonna vary. The food that you eat is gonna vary because I heard another guy say this, and it's true. You're gonna find out that you're eating less over here. So, I always put my food anywhere between $300 to $400. 300 being the minimum, 400 being the maximum. But if we're just talking
Right.
bills only, not lifestyle, I made about $500 on my bills. Now, I mean, I couldn't walk across the street in America for 500 a month, but over here, that takes care of all of my bills. But you're talking about my lifestyle now, you got to add that in. I like to go traveling, and this is pre-pandemic. I go traveling, and remember you got to spend some money on your lady, and but they're low maintenance. See, that's why I like, Filipinos. They're low maintenance, man. It doesn't take a whole lot to please them, you know,
Well, they can be low
but you have to factor that in. So,
It
I
depends
mean,
on the
right, but
family.
that's some high maintenance women too, though. It like it
Yeah.
depends on what area that you live in. Like most of the
yeah,
low
but
maintenance women's gonna be in the
no, but
privates.
okay,
But you dating a woman in
yeah,
Makati
but
or
the
like
ones that
in
I'm
Manila, go ahead.
gonna there's always gonna be exception to the rule, but here's what I'm saying. Who was maintaining her before you met her? That's what I'm saying. How can you be high maintenance and you're earning $200 a month if you're doing that? So
Yeah, but here's
if
what
you meet
happens.
somebody that's high maintenance, more than likely she's been with another foreigner already. Because I'm saying, how can
Right.
she be high maintenance before you
Well,
met her?
well, there's
I
different
mean,
ways.
that's almost
High
impossible.
maintenance. High maintenance can be a lot of different interpretations. For example, it may not be the girl that's high maintenance. It may be her family that's high maintenance. But some of these guys, especially if you're in a large age gap relationships, the family's going to demand some money from you. Now, fortunately for me, I'm not in a high age bracket or wide age bracket relationship, so I don't have that issue. We help out when we can, and if we don't want to, we won't. But there's a lot of foreigners that I've met where they got to fork out that money. They got to fork it out. That's just the way it is. So the girl may not be high maintenance, but the family and other people around her may cause her to become, high maintenance to get money from you to help the family out.
Right, I mean, that's a great point too. A lot of times, the foreigner, some families, you got to be careful with the families you deal with. Cause you got some families they don't think because you're the foreigner they're gonna expect you to take care of them also. They might expect an allowance, or they might expect something. Might be $100 or $200 a month, but some families might expect you to do your part. Because you got some of the women might be married to other foreigners, and their husband doing a part. Then so it like when they get with a foreigner sometimes, but they don't go with everybody though. It varies. It varies depending on the family. Because you got some family, like when I dealt with Rose family, they didn't expect anything from me. But you got some families that will. So it's gonna vary. It can go either way in that situation. But these are things we can look out for too.
Are you there, Jay?
I'm here.
Jay?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Can
can hear
y'all
you
hear
now.
me? Okay, it might be a delay or something.
So you're breaking up.
Hold on, I might need to come in and come back out. It might be my connection. Hold on, you guys. Y'all can talk though. I'm gonna just come in and come
Bad
out.
connection.
Y'all can hold it
I can
down.
hear you.
Okay, I'm back. Okay, Sunshine
Good.
Shoulder. Let's see. Is he coming back? Yeah. Hold on one second. It could go either way though. Like with you dealing with the women. I mean, everybody's situation gonna be different. Some guys might get a woman that they don't. This is your guests need to. Okay, here you go.
Yeah, I'm back. I tried to
Okay.
log out and log back in to see if I could get a better signal.
And where's
I can
Sunshine?
hear you. I can hear you a lot better now.
Is his name Calvin?
Yeah, he got a channel called Sunshine Shoulders.
I think I've seen that. Where's he located at?
Okay. Okay, go ahead. We left off where I was saying that some families might expect you being a foreigner to have obligations for them every month, but they don't. I mean, they don't go with everybody. Everybody's situation is different.
Yeah.
Any of you guys want to elaborate on that?
I'm gonna tell you something. Yeah, because I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I've been around here 11 years. Nobody that I've ever dealt with have I ever had to do something for the family. If I did, see, I get ahead of that, and that's what I would suggest to the guys. Go ahead and get ahead of that. You know, if you already know these people over here, they're struggling, man. You know, so when I met the mother, I usually side her 3 or 4 for the first time. I usually side her 3, 4, 5,000 pesos, depending on the situation. You know, because that's not a lot of money for me, and I know that they can handle it. But the families have never asked me for not 1 peso, man. And I think guys are really unlucky when you meet a woman and her family is all on you for money. I just don't, that's not my experience over here. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but you can get ahead of that. You know, remember, a lot of times they're not going to ask you for anything, but you know, okay, you go over there and you see, man, all they're eating is rice and vegetables every damn day you're over there. I mean, the next time you go there, man, bring a couple of kilos of pork, fish, chicken. You know, you can do that without being a damn trick. You understand?
Yeah, right. I understand that.
That's what I'm
Yeah, and
saying. I've
everybody's
been fortunate, man. I tell you. I think
go
that
ahead.
Filipinos get a bad rap on that. These people over here, man, they got a lot of pride. Now, I do know a guy who takes care of his wife's family, and I'm gonna tell you why he does that. And they're over in the States now because he doesn't want her to work. He's so jealous. He wants her to stay home. So she said, look, if I got to stay home and I can't work, then you got to take care of my family. See, because most Filipinos, man, they're used to working. And they're the ones who are taking care of the family already. See, I mean, you know, when a Filipino works over here, she's not working for herself. A lot of times, she's sending one of her brothers and sisters to school, you know, more than likely paying the college tuition. She's buying the food. She's doing all of that, man. She's wearing a lot of the hats in the family. Okay. All right. But when you get over in the States, she's going to work and she's going to take care of the family. See? You know, unless you got a gold digger, man. But you know, but man, I don't experience that over here. I don't see that on the ground here. You know, I don't see the gold digging because we can see what they're trying to do from a mile away, guys. You know, we've seen it all. And when you come over here, time sort of like stands still a little bit. It slows way down. I mean, you can see that coming from a mile away. And then, you know, it's up to you if you want to back out of that or you want to proceed forward. But it's just not been my experience, man.
Right. I could understand that too. But I got to keep in mind too, everybody's not on the same level that we on. Well, you got a bunch of simps that's come over there too. You got simps that's come over there. Like I said, they're a simp in the U.S. You gonna be a simp when you go to the Philippines. A lot of guys get taken advantage of too sometimes because they don't know what to look for. They will get families that will ask for money, but like in my situation, I didn't deal with that. I already knew what to look for, but you got some guys that's vulnerable. I got some stories I'm going to share on my picture about real life stories of people that I know that done this. Like everybody gonna have a different experience. Like we was able to know what we looking for in a woman and get a quality woman where we had to deal with all the bola. But some of the guys that's green that don't know, the inexperienced guy, some of them guys get taken for a ride. A lot of them guys get scammed. They get the family. So I know what to look for in a family. Like if I meet a woman and she got a family, and then they start asking me for stuff. I mean, I'm telling them I'm not rich. I'm not gonna tell them how much money I make. I'm not gonna tell them my income, but I'm saying no, I can't do that because they sometimes have expectations because you the foreigner, you rich, and they thinking that you got lots of money. And they said to the woman, "Oh, you lucky to get him." And if I see that, I know I don't want that. But some guys get that, and they get taken for a ride.
You know, and let me say this because let me back up and say this. See, the women in Manila, the city women, maybe they're different, but when you start coming down south, I just don't see that in the women. You know, unless you just get unlucky and meet somebody that's going to take advantage of you, man, because they just don't do that over here, man. The ones that take advantage of you are the scammers. They're the ones that you don't want to deal with. Man, the Filipino has a thick culture, man. I'm telling you this right now from being over here as long as I have. All right. Nine times out of 10, they're all going to act the same way. They just look different. You're going to experience a lot of the same things with these women, and it's going to make your head spin. You're just going to be with a different person, but they're going to act the same way because of that culture, man. You know, if somebody comes over here and is taken advantage of, that's because they've met the wrong person. They've met somebody that's, you know, I don't know how to really put it into words. They met the wrong one because 9 times out of 10, they're just not going to take advantage of you, man. They're not that way, okay? And this is what I'm trying to put. There's always going to be the exception, guys. Don't take that the wrong way. Don't think that I'm saying that there's not bad apples over here because it is. But I'm going to tell you, man, on the surface, 9 times out of 10, the people you meet over here, man, they're not going to try to take advantage of you. You know, will somebody in the family try to take advantage? You know, I don't know. But the women that you meet, they're not going to do it. They're not raised that way.
Kevin, have you ever heard the stories of some of these foreigners? They get taken for their house, they get taken for their business. They be left in a bad way.
But see, that's what I'm telling you, Jay. They met the wrong one. A real Filipina, born and bred here, you know, they've got courses that they have to take in school. And I can ask my girl what the name of it is, on how to act in public, how to treat people. Man, this is built into their culture, man. When you come over here and meet a scammer or somebody like that, like you said, a high maintenance, man, you're really, that's why I always suggest the guys to meet 3 women when they come over here, just in case you meet that exception, so you can back out of there. Because, man, I'm gonna tell you, that's the exception. The rule is this: Filipinos are down to earth. They're very bashful. They're very shy. They know their place. They know their role, and they're not going to take advantage of you. Okay.
Right. One thing that differs, like I spent the majority of my time in Manila, in Quezon City. I spent some time in the province. I lived in both places, but I spent majority of my time in Manila area and the Quezon City area. And I tell you, those women are different. Those women sometimes are Americanized, and I seen women there but you in a good area, like Rose said. In your area, there's some nice women. Like I learned this too. In different parts of the Philippines, you're gonna meet different types of women. You're gonna meet different grade of women. All the women are not gonna be the same because the private women is gonna have more conservative, and they're gonna be different than the ones you meet like in Manila. Let's say in the Makati area, somewhere like that. Those women are gonna be a whole different level. So you're not gonna find the same woman that you'll find in the province in Quezon City or in Manila. Then Cebu got different women. Like when I move around different places, there I see different. But like the best places to find women are in like a provincial area. But you like dealing with someone like in the city, they different. That they've been around foreigners. They there for a reason to get foreigners. They there. They know the way. So there's gonna be different types of women. Like when we got the airplane, all the women not gonna be the same because they all gonna be different. But you can pretty much tell from where they live or their area, pretty much. A lot of times you're dealing with the province girl. You pretty much got a good girl, but you still got to keep your eyes open. But if you're dealing with a woman in Manila, those women just like sometimes the American women. I've dealt with some of them. I could tell you the stories of the girl that seemed real nice. Some of you people that been following me a long time, see, I come home to an empty house. She took all my shit, but she looked nice. But not all the women not gonna do that. We gotta be careful though. Because all the women, I mean, like everybody gonna have a different experience. It depends on the individual also. Depending on your wit, what you know. I mean, some of the guys don't know a lot. Some of the guys are soft and weak or simple. And a woman sees she can take advantage of you and run over you with you, she gonna do that. Those women can see that too. Because they sometimes in survival mode. They hungry and they on a whole different level. They trying to survive. They trying to eat. They trying to take care of their family. They trying to take care of their kid.
Yeah, but see, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Those are ones that are straying outside of the culture. And and you gotta realize something. There's 50. Okay, if the Philippines is 107 million people, and let's split it down the middle. Let's say there's 53 million women here. And then say another 20 million single marriageable women. That's 20 million women, man. If you can't come over here, if what you're trying to do is come over and meet a woman, if you can't meet a good Filipina out of that 20 million, man, you need to pack it up and go home. But don't come over here just to meet a woman, okay? Because if you do, you're going to cheat yourself. The Philippines has a lot more to offer. The woman is the icing on the cake, okay?
Right.
But, I don't care. A lot of the women you seeing in Manila, they come from the province. They go to Manila to find work, okay? And the ones you're talking about in the city, yeah, you may not want to deal with them. If you see, because Filipinas are not aggressive. If you see a Filipina that's aggressive, man, that's a red flag. You need to back off from that because they're not aggressive, man. It's just,
Right.
that's just what it is. So when you see one that's aggressive, that's asking you for money and, that's just being acting out of character, man, that's a red flag. Okay. And if you're unable to recognize that, then you're probably going to get in trouble over here. Like I said,
There's a lot of people that do get
some
in
of the
trouble.
American thinking we need to get rid of, but some of it we need to keep because it's going to help us when we get over here. And that's one of the things, man. We can see through that. Your antennas are going to go up, man. If you got to be able to see through that pretty face because remember the last show we had when I told you, I said, there's a lot of pretty faces over here. And if you're weak for that, you're going to be in trouble. See, you're not going to be able to distinguish the good from the bad because all you're going to be looking at is that little pretty Filipino face. And that's going to get you in trouble.
Dude, I just met a guy like that, man. I was at the beach. I met a guy
Stop.
like that. I was at the beach about 2 weeks ago, right? And I met three couples. One of the couples I knew, and then the other two. So what's funny is they were all in these relationships. The girls were anywhere from 21 to 30, something like that. This one guy looked unhappy. Continuously, he was unhappy the whole day. And what he would do is, the girl would go in the water, and he'd bring his chair out by the beach, and he would just cater to her. Like if she came out and brought her snorkel out, he would take it from her and hold it for her and shit like that. So he was taking care of her, but he looked unhappy. So later he came with the other two guys. They came, sat by me, we're talking. And I looked at him. I said, "Why are you so unhappy, man?" Just like that. He goes, "I'm happy." I go, "Really?" I go, "You don't show it." I says, because his friend was telling me this guy's been already to 7 women. They got to be 21. That's what he said. This dude was like 72. I'm like, maybe you should change up a little. Go with somebody like 27, 28. You might be happier. But he was really unhappy because he's just been taken advantage of continuously by every woman he's been with. So, and it's up to you, man. You want to be a doormat? That's your choice. It's your choice. You want to be a doormat.
You're right about that. I seen those type of guys there a lot when I was there. I seen those type of guys that was unhappy.
Yeah.
They was unhappy in their situation, and they was pretty much stuck. They
Well,
weren't
they
gonna
keep
go
doing the
nowhere. They
same
just
thing.
some of them.
They
The
keep
sad thing, most of the guys stay there and take it and just be unhappy. I seen
doing
one
the
guy
same.
that actually died unhappy.
Really? Yeah. They just take it and they keep doing the same mistake over and over and over again with the next girl. Same thing. So you look at them like, well, then it's on you. You know, that's all you can tell them. It's on you, man. Wake up. So it is what it is.
Why do you think the guy was unhappy? Did it have anything to do with finances or anything or
You
what?
know, I don't know. He said he was from California. I didn't really dwell too much into his business and stuff. I don't think he was rich or anything like that, but I think he probably had enough to make it. But you don't know what's really going on behind the scenes. I mean, again, she's a young girl, 21 years old. He's 72. She's immature. Come on. I mean, think about it. Uh, Probably he really hasn't had anything in common with it. Because I asked her, I go, "What do you have in common with this girl?" He goes, "Well, I got a lot in common." I go, "Well, tell me one." And he couldn't give me one thing that he had in common with it. You understand? When you go to the Filipinos got to take care of you, not you take care of the Filipinos. I mean, it works both ways. You understand what I'm saying? But these young, big age gap relationship with these young girls, they don't know nothing. Because what happened is she probably moved in with him from her parents' house. So you're basically a surrogate father. You're an ex-father to this girl. And that's what these guys don't understand. You got to get yourself a woman that's out there on her own, that's already paying her own bills. That's the kind of women you're looking for. That's what I look for. And that's what I got. I don't have these kind of issues, with my wife because she was already on her own. She knows how to pay her bills. She had a job. I didn't take a lot of these guys will come here and they'll take one of these girls from her parents' house and moves in with them after knowing them for about a month. Shit like that. They'll do shit like that. That's the worst thing you can do. That's disaster.
Right.
That's a piece of
You
disaster.
you give you give me the topic for next week already. I already know what we're gonna talk about next week because you opened up the door to that. We're gonna talk about the age gap relationships, the advantages and the disadvantages of it.
I mean,
Because
I know some
that
that
would mess
girls don't
people
get
up a lot. The
don't take me
dynamics of
wrong. I
that.
know
I
some
don't
that
I don't
will.
really want to explore into that a whole lot more tonight. I want to kind of stay in the topic of the cost of living a little bit. I'm glad we kind of veered into that because that kind of showed me some things that we're gonna look at. We're gonna look a deeper look at that next week.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Now, he said something. The brother said something that goes right along with what I was telling you. He said, when you come over here, the Filipino will take care of you, not you take care of the Filipino. See, that's the culture I'm talking about. if you meet a
Yeah.
woman that's not, if you meet a Filipina and she's not taking care of you naturally, just that's what she does as a Filipina, then that's a red flag, man. You know, he
Right.
hit it on the nose. He's telling you about the culture, what I'm saying. 9 times out of 10, when you meet a Filipino, man, she's going to take care of you, you know,
Right.
and if she doesn't, then you need to back out of there, man. You that's a red flag.
Right. And you're right, Calvin, because think about it. You're coming to a foreign country, you've got some idea of what's going on because you probably did a little bit of homework prior to getting here, but you're not going to know everything. It's obvious. So that's where she comes in. Like when we moved here last year, we moved here full time, we were all in. My transition was so smooth, it wasn't even funny. You understand what I'm saying? Now, I did do since 2014, I was averaging 2 trips a year, so that helped a lot. So I had about 10 trips to the Philippines under my belt. But still, the transition was so smooth, we were just laughing about it. You know, my channel, it's not the kind of channel that people are gonna come over there and because a lot of subscribers they like the drama stuff, they like the people messing up and stuff like that. They want to hear people failing and all that. When you come to my channel, the kind of information I give out, you don't fail if you listen to what I talk about. See what I mean? So I'm not going to get tons and tons of subscribers because a lot of subscribers want people to fail. You know what I mean? They want to come to channels where this guy lost this money, this guy got ripped off by this many people, and blah blah blah. You know what I mean? That's what they look for. But that's not my channel. And so my transition was so smooth, dude. It was unreal. Uh, and we got a little bit lucky. Even finding an apartment, it took us 3 days after we got here. Usually it takes you a good month to find the right kind of accommodations and stuff like that. So again, but a lot of it had to do with my wife. She was canvassing the neighborhood, talking to people. This person said, "Hey, there's an apartment over there. Go there, dear." So again, but that comes with maturity. That if you got a really young Filipina, and I'm not going back to the age thing, and she doesn't really know much about the world and this and that, she's going to be too shy. That's not going to help you, man. You need somebody that's a little bit more mature, that's streetwise, that kind of stuff, a little bit of education. That's the kind of woman that's going to help
Right. There any other angles or direction you want to go with this, Calvin? With cost of living, because it's the topic that you picked this week.
Yeah, I really just wanted to throw out there and let the men know when you get over here, that's your role. You're the provider when you get here. That's really what I wanted to talk about, to kind of get rid of that Americanized thinking where, it's not 50-50 over here. She's
you.
not going to help pay half your bills because she can't pay half your bills. Okay, so when you come over here, you're going to be the one shelling out the money, but it's nothing to be ashamed about. It's nothing to be feel used about or anything like that. That's just your role. That's what I meant by the cost of living, because in America, we're kind of hesitant, especially when we meet a new woman about spending any money. But you can't have that attitude when you get over here. When you hit the ground, man, you got to start peeling, really. I ain't saying just take your money out and throw it in the air. I'm saying think, where you are. You're in the Philippines, man. You're not in Las Vegas. You're not in Paris, France. You're not in Hawaii. You know, they need some help. When you meet her and you've been talking to her on the online and, and y'all getting to know each other, when you get over here, man, she probably had those same shoes on forever. There's no telling when the last time she's bought a new pair of shoes or a new underwear, a new bras or something like that. That's what I was just talking about, cost of living, um, because my bills are cheap, man. Let's just get that out of the way. I spend less than $500 a month on my bills, but the other things you got to step up and play your role, because there's clearly defined roles over here, and that's what I like about it. Right now, as we're speaking right now, my woman is cleaning up. She's already cooked. She's cleaning up. You know, um, she'll take care of my needs anytime I want. She doesn't all of that, man. But guess what? She's not going to ask me for anything. But when it's time to go to the store, I'm not going to tell her, well, you go in the store, you pay for it. It's just something, it's
Right.
just about human decency. It's about being decent. It's about, you know, good common sense, man. You know, I
But you,
just
you
want
gotta you
guys to
gotta act as
understand you're
a
not a
team.
sucker.
You gotta act as a team here, and that's the
Yeah, you're
problem in
not
the
sugar
U.S.
daddy over here when you do
Right?
that
You
kind
gotta
of
act
stuff.
as a team. You know, everybody's got to know their role here. But that's the problem in the U.S. That's why a lot of failed marriages in the U.S. because it's not a team concept.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
you got to have a
It's
leader and you
pretty
got to
plain
have a
out.
follower. That kind
They're going
Right.
to follow you. They're going to look to you as the leader. If you don't have that in you, then you know that's going to turn her off. Really, if you got
right.
a real good woman, you know, because she's going to look at you over here. The man is still at the top of the uh, food chain over here. See, I eat first over here. It's not because I'm some kind of macho guy or something like that. They did that, man. At home, I wasn't used to that. You know, they taught me that. I felt uncomfortable doing it. But a guy asked me to, can I talk about my budget? Okay. Um, well, my rent here, if you can see, and if you go on my channel, I gave you a little tour of my house. I've got a 2-bedroom house here in the western Visayas part of the Philippines. 1 bath. I pay $140 every month, 7,000 US. Then I pay another this particular month for September. My electric was low, 649 pesos. So that's about $16. Okay, less than that. Actually, it's $13.40 for my electric bill. Then I paid 393 pesos for my water. So that's about $8. Okay. That's my bills right there. The rest of it, okay, like I said, my food is going to run me anywhere from $300 to $400 every month. Okay, 300 being the low end, 400 being the high end. Okay, I've got a field health plan that I pay over here. It's about $40 a month. You know, then I got my cell phone. I don't have a plan yet, so I spend about um, let's see, I spend 100 every 7 days. So I spend about another $10 for my cell bill, you know, which includes my internet. And then, of course, you know, I usually give my woman anywhere from 10, 15, 20,000 a month. So it just depends on what she needs. So I'm still under 1,000. Okay. But if you're by
Like
yourself,
I'm
if you're single, you're going to spend a lot
one
less
question I
than
want
that.
to ask: do you take care of the household, or do she take? 'Cause I know in the Philippines, most of the women sometimes take care of the household where they buy the food, like they pretty much over the budget in a way. Like, is that the way you do it, or y'all do it jointly?
But my wife does it, man. She
Well,
takes care of it.
okay, here's what I was saying before. It's one thing, you know, see, I've got to give her the money to go to the store. Otherwise, especially to the market, otherwise, I'm going to pay the foreigner price. But she doesn't manage the money. I manage the money, but she does all the shopping and stuff like that because she knows what she's doing. I don't. But there's a difference, you know, between managing my money and spending my money. She spends, but she doesn't manage it. Because imagine if I, you know, because and this is, you know, I'm a semi-retired insurance agent. I've got a passive income of about 2,000 US dollars per month. Okay, that's about 100,000 pesos every month. Now imagine my girl is used to her salary is about, you know, 5, 6, 7,000 pesos per month. That's what she's used to budgeting. Now imagine if I gave her my 100,000 pesos to budget. Do you think she would do a good job with that? No,
She might.
Hell no,
not,
hell no.
she's not used to handling that kind of money. You understand? So yeah,
It
she
depends on the
spends.
woman.
I give her.
It depends
Go
on
ahead,
the
It's
woman.
just different. With
It
them,
depends
like
on the woman.
even though I'm in
Yeah.
Colombia, I take care of my family. The worst mistake any guy could do that's supporting a family is sending it all at one time. They're gonna spend that shit in a few days because they
A
might
lot of
manage it
Filipinos,
different.
Right,
But I do it every week.
right.
Like every Friday, I take care of my family. I break down what I'm gonna give, and I do it that way instead of giving it to her at one time because that's not a good way to do it. You
Exactly.
get them a
it
little bit at
depends.
a time, they know how to manage it. But you get them a big
Yeah.
amount, they're gonna blow that shit. That shit. I mean, they're not be
That,
used to that kind of money.
Right. That's what
yeah,
I'm saying.
I'm probably in a little bit different situation than you are, Calvin. I don't know. Did your spouse ever come to the U.S. and work over there and stuff like that?
What'd you say?
Did your spouse ever come to the U.S. and work over there and stuff?
Oh yeah, but yeah,
Yeah.
6 years.
Because my wife came to the
You know,
U.S. and she had her own bank account. She worked, so I told her to save her money and stuff. So then when we came back to the Philippines, she's got her own money too. But what's interesting is she's got a big chunk of money and she doesn't go crazy with it. You know what I mean? So maybe I'm kind of lucky in that way. But they're not all like that. Some women are.
we're not lucky. That's the Filipino, man, because they're used to working over here and they can save just from the little earnings that they make over here. So imagine when they go to America
Right.
and they're working and they got a good job, they're gonna save, man, and they're gonna work, man. They're not lazy. They're going to work. Now, as far as the man is concerned, I don't know a lot about the Filipino man. Because I don't have,
No, they're
I
lazy.
don't have not one Filipino friend over here. I got associates that I work out if I go to the gym. You know, I see walking around the neighborhood. But now, as far as the Filipino, yeah, I've got a lot of experience with them, man. And they will work, man. They work over here. If that's one thing that's going to shock you, when you get to the Philippines, you're going to see who's running the Philippines. It's the woman. She's doing everything over here. So when she goes to America, man, they're gonna work, they're gonna save. But over here, man, if I gave my wife 100,000 pesos to deal with over here, man, we'd be on the street in no time. She's not used to handling that kind of money over here. Not over here. I mean, what
Right.
could you possibly spend 100,000 a month when in the Philippines when the average salary? And remember, we talked about this last week. It's 12,500 pesos per month, but that's the highest of the high salaries put in there with the lowest of the low. Most of the people I associate with, they earn anywhere between 4 and 10,000 a month. So can you imagine if I just gave her 100,000 every month, man? We have all kind of crazy shit around her. We probably have Elvis statues and everything. You know,
Jared, what you think?
you know.
I'm at Jared a question like Jared, what you think? Like, if you give a Filipino woman like
Yeah.
100,000 a month, I mean, what do you think they'll do with that?
You know what? Again, like I'm in a unique situation because my wife's got a credit card. You know what I mean? So she has access to money. But again, I kind of, she a lot of times even with her own money, she'll come up to me and say, "Hey, I want my mom $50 or something. Do you mind?" And I'm like, "But it's your money. Just go ahead and do it." So I don't say no. But she'll still even ask me, even though it's her money. She'll ask me if she can send her mom some money. So again, it just depends on the women. But again, a lot of times here, these women will go crazy. They get that kind of money in their hands. Now they might get manipulated by family members. Lend me 1,000. Lend me 5,000 pesos. This and that. I see people get manipulated like that by their family members. Filipinas. So and then they get in trouble like that. They end up. The minute your family members, you got money, you're in trouble. You gotta
Right.
come out of the woodwork.
They know she
Trying to
managing
get
that kind of money.
yeah, they're coming from everywhere, man. So again,
Because
a lot of it has to do on the maturity of your spouse. If you can handle money,
And the sad thing is, if they know that she managing that kind of money, they're gonna take advantage of her.
so they're gonna try. Yeah, of course.
that's right.
You ever heard the term?
But
Can y'all
the
elaborate on the term "one day millionaire"?
Yeah.
School that to the
yeah,
newcomers.
well, we
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Kel.
now what I'm saying is the brother he's throwing some gems out here because see he made me think about something. Sometimes we're our worst enemy. See, we'll come over here and we'll turn. You know, we remember you heard if you're my age, you heard that song. I created a monster out of a shy country girl. That's what we do over here. Sometimes we're our own worst enemy. We'll come over here and we'll splurge and we'll give her more money than she's ever seen before. And next thing you know, she's no longer this shy province girl. She's this monster. And but we can only blame ourselves for that. See, and that's what a lot of times happens. You know, we can spoil these women, man, to a point where, and what do you think the word spoiled means? It means it's no
Right.
good anymore. Throw it away.
Right.
So a lot of times we're our worst enemy. See, but
I want y'all to
so
elaborate on that a
she
little bit.
doesn't.
I want you and Jericho to elaborate on what happened when you spoiled a woman. When you spoiled them, tell these guys what happened.
Well, I wouldn't know. I don't spoil mine, man. So,
I know you don't, but I know you've seen other people that do. You've been there long enough.
yeah, you know
I'm
what I
not
mean.
saying you're being hypothetical.
Yeah, I mean these guys. You know, you see a lot of these guys that will spoil their women. Part of it is they're controlling. They're controlling type personality. So they're gonna control the money, but also they'll be able to control the women. Now they will be. They're kind of simps, man. You see these guys that are. And some of these guys will just do anything for the women because you know what? A lot of these guys that come here, they're not that good looking. They're overweight. They don't know how to dress, and on and on and on. Right? All of a sudden they come here, and all these young girls are paying attention to them, and these guys are like kids in the candy store, dude. They just go crazy. See what I mean? So they start splurging, putting the money out here, money out there, and they kind of feel like they're rich when they come out here, because and they, you know, because when they're in their home country, they're poor, right? A lot of these Americans, majority of the Americans that come out here, I would say a good 70% are probably on some sort of disability, social security, that kind of stuff. I would say about 30% actually really have a chunk of change in their pocket. Not correct, you know, you can correct me if I'm wrong. But so a lot of them, they come out here even with $1,000, $1,500 in their pocket every month. They're rich here, and it just kind of goes to their head. But in their home country, they're nobody. Here, they're somebody. You know, and it could be the money. It could be because you know, they're American. It could be, you know, different reasons too. So, and they just go crazy. So, that's normal.
One thing I want to say too, before our brother Calvin respond, I seen some pretty good girls from the province. They was down there. They didn't have no high expectation, but then the guy spoiled them. And then they make the good girl. That good girl, I see her a year later. She different. She a bad girl. Cause now the guy tell her about Gucci, Louis Vuitton, and like giving her the finer things in life. When you don't have to do that, you can give her simple things.
You don't. You
And
don't
I
have to
see
do
those
that.
girls turn from being good girls to being bad girls because the guy spoiled them.
You know what? A good woman here in the Philippines will never ask you for money. Not once. Never. That's a good woman.
You're right,
There
but
are.
what about the guys that just give it to them? Like the girls don't ask, but they say, "Hey, babe, I'm gonna give you Gucci." You know anything about Gucci? No, I don't know Gucci. When you
Well,
teach
but then
them,
here's
and
what
then
you're
they
doing.
learn the ways, you giving them gifts. Because that's what you do in the
Well,
West. You
you're
give women
training
gifts
them.
all the time, name
You're
brands,
training them
but
to
they don't
ask
matter
you.
over there.
It's like the guy. Think about it. It's like one thing you never do is when you go on a first date with a woman, never bring flowers, roses. Never, never, never do that ever because you're training them a certain way. My wife's laughing in the background.
Only bring
You
iPad.
hiring their
Yeah,
expectation. They're gonna
when
be
I first met
expecting
my
you.
wife, you know what? When I first met my wife, the first trip I came on, whether it worked out or not, I brought her an iPad. I bought myself an iPad. I brought her one. I gave it to her. And I said to myself, if it works out and if it don't, it's cool. I'll just give her an iPad because she was so cool, you know. But overall, I think what happens is a lot of these guys will train them women to be princesses here when they first come out. That's what they'll do, and you don't want to do that. You really
Don't start now. You can't finish.
don't. Yeah, right.
You have anything to say about that, Calvin? Like about the guys? What's your perception of guys
Yeah,
that's spoiling the women?
yeah. But see, it's not just the guys. I'm gonna give you my personal experience. See, sometimes when we come over here, man, we got to be real careful because we will upset the natural order of things over here. Now, you're in the Philippines, and
Right.
it's tough to make it over here, man. So you got to have a certain attitude to make it over here. I mean, you got to be, you know, um, I don't, I don't know the word to
Why would
use,
you say
but
it's
it's
tough,
tough over here
Calvin?
to make a living. Okay,
Why is that? Why
so
would you say it's tough?
so you have to be really, sharp over here to make it. So we have to be careful because what we'll do is we'll come over here and I'm gonna keep it on me. This is what I did. Because if a woman's with me, she's gonna live my lifestyle for as long as we're together, man. And, when I first came over in
Right.
the Philippines, see, I'm a semi-retired insurance agent, man. But at that time, I was still working full time. I had an FMO contract, a lucrative contract, man. And I took her all. This is the mother of my son, and she was working 7 days a week, 12 hours a day for about 7,000. And this is including overtime and everything for about 7,000 pesos a month, man. So what I did was, she quit her job. She had never, I mean, she couldn't even remember the last time she had taken a day off. So what I did, man, I spoiled her, man. Okay. I upset the natural order thing. So by the time I left, because I stayed here for about 2 months. By the time I left, man, she was no good. She couldn't make it in the Philippines anymore. She didn't have that edge that it took to make it. See, you understand what I'm saying? So I spoiled her, man. I really ruined her, even though now she's in the States. She eventually got married because she couldn't make it over here anymore. See, she couldn't go back from the life I had shown her to living her normal, regular life. She couldn't do it, man. We were going everywhere, man. We went to Bantayan Island, Bohol, Boracay. We lived in a condominium in Cebu City in Labanga. And, I'm paying, this is in 2010, man, 15,000 a month. We were living high class, man. And I ruined the young lady, man. And this is what I'm talking about. I upset the
And,
natural order of things, man. I dulled her knife, so to speak. By the time me and
and
her
it's
was
no,
done, man, she had to find an American. She had to move away from here because she couldn't
yeah.
stay here anymore. And that's what happens to a
That
lot of
happens a lot
women.
to foreigners here. It's kind of a catch-22 for foreigners when they come here because they might meet a woman that they really like, but she's working. And a lot of times the people are working 6 days a week, just like you said. So they don't have time to really go out with this girl. So then what they end up doing is telling her, quit your job. I'll pick up the slack on your what you were making. And then 2, 3 months later, they realize, oh man, this ain't the girl for me. And then it's hard to get rid of them because they were supporting these girls. These girls don't have jobs anymore. So it's kind of tough if you're going to come out here. Dating somebody that's working full time is going to be kind of tough. You know, it's going to be tough.
Right. One thing, one guys mess up on too when they try to be like Beyonce, especially better guy. Let me upgrade you. They want to upgrade the woman, and one thing they do is women love cell phones over there. Everybody loves cell phone. They might be happy with the cell phone they have, but when you say, "Let me buy you the iPhone," or get them $1,000 phone, then that's gonna change the whole lot because she got this expensive phone, and now she got the expensive phones. They're gonna open up the door to her wanting more expensive things because
Right.
you show her that you can provide this. A lot of guys mess up that way.
Yeah,
They
but see,
go ahead.
yeah, I'm saying you have to understand that a lot of times they don't even appreciate that stuff like that. Okay, let me tell you what I did. I bought my wife a Michael Kors purse, man. I spent over $50 for it. And you know what? Right now, man, it's over her mother's house in the Philippines. They're using it for storage, man. You understand what? A lot of times we're our worst enemy, man. I paid $300 for this Michael Kors purse, but she don't, they can't appreciate something like that right away. How could they? How could they? So it's in Zamboanga right now, upstairs, and they're using it. They got old clothes inside of it. They're using it as a storage, man. And that's what we do, man. We end up coming over and spending a lot of money that we shouldn't even have to spend. Filipinos are low maintenance for real. And like you said, yeah, there's some that are high maintenance, but that's the exception. That's the exception, man.
But Kevin,
Most
there's
of them
some
are
girls that low maintenance. I seen guys buy low maintenance girls $1,000 phone. It's like that girl didn't ask for that. They love phones over there. They love their phones. They always on their phones. But I've seen guys buy a girl $1,000 phone because that's what you do in the U.S. Try to impress a woman. They bring that way with them. But they opening up a whole nother door they don't know they're opening. They messing everything up when they do that. I've seen that. I've seen that happen so many times. And that girl eventually changed. She gonna start expecting more and more things. She didn't ask for that, but he give it to her as a gift because in America, that's what we do. You give a girl an iPhone or something, they make a big deal of it. And like I said, they love their phones though. I've seen guys do that. The girl didn't ask for it. She got low expectations. She don't want that, but the guy give it to her. Of course, she appreciate this nice phone, and her friends see her with that. Her family see her with that $1,000 phone.
Here's the problem, dude. I know guys that come here, right, and they're on vacation for 3 weeks, a month, or whatever. They're spending all this money. They hook up with this girl. The girl thinks they're rich. They end up marrying the girl, right? And then when the woman goes back to the States with them, they're living poor, and she ends up leaving them. She's like, damn. So again, they're kind of making her look like they're rich to get the girl. Then when the woman finally realizes, oh shit, when she comes to the States, this dude ain't got shit. They're struggling. Then she's got to move on. So you get a lot of that. That's why you get a lot of divorces when a lot of Filipinos come to the States. They'll move on. It's unfortunate, but that happens a lot.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. Here's my thing with that. Some women are like that, but I don't give a damn how poor you are in the States. It's an upgrade for them when they come from over here. So if you get them over there and they do say, oh man, you're poor, you need to ship her back over here because she don't appreciate nothing. Okay? That is bull crap, man. I'm telling you now. Because I don't care if you on disability, man, and you living in government projects over in the States. It's an upgrade. Okay?
I don't know about that.
To the Filipinos' credit, they don't change a lot of them, man. I'm telling you, because I know a lot of couples over there now. Okay? They really get over there, and what they'll do is they'll start. This is the typical Filipino. I'm not talking about the exception. They're going to start working over there in the States. They're going to start sending money back here. Okay, remember I told you about my son's mother that got married? Well, guess what, man? She done built them a beautiful house up in Naga City in Cebu. I mean, this girl was working 2 jobs. That's typically what they'll do. But if you get a woman over to the States and she says, oh, he's poor. I'm like, poor? How can you call me poor when I don't care how I'm living in the States, man? It's an upgrade to you, lady. But in my case, like I said, when my wife came over to the States, man, I was already established. I'm an insurance agent. I already had my little agency. It was you almost have to be careful, because of the culture shock. See, let me tell you something, man. My wife, when I met her, she had never taken a hot shower before. She had never slept on a real mattress before. Listen to what I'm telling you, man. So, yeah, we have to be real careful. But for anybody, so you really got to be careful. A lot of times, it's better that you're not really rich when they come over there. Even though I was middle class, I would say, a little bit, I'd say upper middle class at that time. Okay, so you have to be careful going from how they're living to this just jump in lifestyle. I mean, it's a tremendous jump, and some of them can handle it, some of them can't. You know, but for a woman to come to the States and say, "Oh, you're poor," man, I'd send her right back over. I'd send her back over to the Philippines if she ever told me that. I say, okay, you think you poor? You think I'm poor? You go back over there, you'll see poor. But to their credit, most of them don't do that. Most of them never even change. They just stay the same. They just have more opportunities, more available to them in America. They still work long hours, they save their money, and they help their family back here. But I've never run into that, man, where a woman says, "Oh, you're poor over here." That's the case. No, I'm wrong. I did run into that one time. A brother, and it wasn't even his wife. It was the little clique that she had hooked up with in America. They were telling her that he was poor. Now here this guy is, got his own house. He's working 2 jobs, got a nice truck, but because they married a man with a little bit more money, they're going to try to put her down. See that now that happens.
Right. They sound like they're
More,
Americanized.
yeah, that happens more than the woman saying to the man that you're poor. What happens is the Filipina starts putting the other Filipina down over there if they're not living on the same standard that they're living. And this is what I've seen in America. This is the nitty gritty. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. That's what happens. Okay. Because some of them, man, they make that big jump, man, and then all of a sudden they forget all about how they were living over here. They don't even come back to the Philippines, as a matter of fact. I've got friends over there who haven't been back since I've known them and have no plans of coming back to the Philippines. They've forgotten about this place. They're too good now. Okay.
Well, also, Calvin, some of them, they end up, what happens when some of them, they can't come back to the Philippines. We met some women, like they're in their 60s and stuff, Filipinas, and they were sending money back and stuff to the Philippines to build a house or do this or do that. And their family ate it all up, ate all the money up. So then they got nothing to come back to.
Right.
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 That happens a
But
lot.
that's the exception. But you remember, that's the exception, brother. That's not what the typical Filipino and her family is going to experience. That's the exception, and that always happens. But I give credit to the Filipino. The majority of them don't change. They stay the same hard-working, faithful, loyal women when they get to the States as they did when they lived here. But you got the exception, like the ones I was telling you about, who get over there and now all of a sudden, the husband may own his own construction company or he may be an executive. Some of them even married to doctors, man, over there. And they got these big houses, man. And, it's just a total culture shock, man. Now all of a sudden, they sort of remind me of like George Jefferson. You remember the Jeffersons? You know,
Yeah, moving on up.
Oh
they
yeah,
moved
moving
up.
on up to the
They
east
moved
side
up.
to the big
Yeah, they moved
apartment.
on up, man. Yeah, they moved on up, and then they'll talk down on the Filipina who just got over there. And her and her husband, he's doing good, but he's just not doing as well as the doctor or something. And you know, they'll take credit for everything their husband's done. They'll say like, look at my house and look at our business. No, that's his house and that's his business. And the ones that can distinguish between those two, they usually come out okay. Okay. But it's the ones that's over there like that and like, look at my house, look at my business, and start talking down on the other Filipino. Those are the ones that usually end up getting in trouble. The husband end up leaving them and they come back here and they have nothing. So, uh, I give credit to the Filipino. Most of them don't change when they get over there. But there's always the exception. There's always the exception. You know,
Right. I think that if they get in that environment, you got to keep them away from certain people because some people can be toxic and mess up a good thing that you have. And one thing as guys that we deal with, especially the guys in the U.S., right now they talking about being a high value guy. That's the talking that everybody's doing now. It's very popular. Everybody want to be high value. But when you traveling abroad, that stuff don't apply to you. You don't have to be high value when you're dating abroad. When you're dating in the U.S., yeah, you got to be high value. When you're dating abroad, you don't have to be high value. I'm going to deal with that Sunday on the Sunday Vibe Show. We're going to talk about um, do I have to be a high value guy dating abroad? And I remember that too, JLJ about Eddie Murphy. That comes from that Eddie Murphy stand up from the 80s, I think the 80s, called Raw. You're like, 80, I won't have. Give me half, 80. Give me half. Y'all ain't seen that. Y'all need to check it out though.
You don't have to be high value, man, in the Philippines because you got to remember the high class, upper class Filipina is not going to date a foreigner. That's for sure. She's going to marry an upper class Filipino. The middle class Filipino most likely will stick with the middle class Filipino guy because with both of their incomes, they can do quite well. So the women that we're going to meet here are most likely going to be in a lower class echelon of women. That's just the way it is.
Right.
Most
Calvin, do you have anything else any other direction you want to go with the cost of living?
no, no, that's it, man. I just wanted guys to come over here with an open mind. That's all. I didn't want them to shut their minds, when it's come time to spend over here. Because remember, this is the Philippines, man. People are struggling over here, and it's even worse now because of the pandemic. It's even worse now because of the pandemic. So don't come over here being cheap. Don't come over here being stingy. This is the wrong place to be like that. You know, you can do that in America, but you don't want to do that over here. Be a decent human being when you get over here, and the people will embrace you. You know, don't be unthinking when you get over here and try to get something for nothing, man. Don't do that. These people need help, man. They need your help over here. Don't don't take your money out of your pocket and burn it up, but you know, just use your good
be
common sense
wise.
that you've been using your whole life. That's all.
Be wise, be wise with your money. Um, that's what I would say. Just be wise with your money, and before you come out here, just put your numbers together and make sure that you got enough to live here. Because you're not going to come here and make money. It's just not going to happen. So your income is going to have to come from your own country. I mean, you can make
Right.
money here, but it's not even worth the hours. You know what I mean? I think after you calculate how much you make, I mean, you can put a lot of money into a business to make a little money back, and it's not even really worth it, man. You're lucky if you make $1 an hour here. So again, you want money from your home country or some kind of online business or something. But one thing that you guys got to remember is you don't need to make as much money to live here. So it's not like, in the States, you got to be making about 4 grand a month to live in the US or else you ain't living. Here, it's a lot different. It's a lot less. You don't need to make as much. So if you're out here, say you're trading stocks or you're trading something to make money, you don't need to make as much. So even if you make, say, 500 a month or 800 a month trading stocks or whatever, which is nothing in the U.S., it's actually a good chunk of change here in the Philippines. It's extra income.
Right. I want everybody to make sure y'all smash that like button. Also, share this video. And this has been a great show though. We dropped a whole lot of jewels tonight. A whole lot of jewels. We had some experienced people on this panel. They gave us some great information. And shout out to all my moderators and Guapa Rose in the Philippines. Thank you for holding it down. I'm going to let you guys close it out with their final comments. I'm going to start with Jerry, and then we're going to go to Calvin, and then I'm going to close it out.
Yeah, again, just like I mentioned, thanks for having me on, Jay. Just like I tell anybody that comes to the Philippines, again, I've only been living out here for 1 year full time. I don't anticipate going back to the U.S. Most likely ever, unless I totally have to. For myself, the Philippines is full time, but I think I'm going to split my time between France and the Philippines. That's just me. But if you're coming out here, get your money together. If you got to work an extra 3, 4, 5 years before you come out to the Philippines, don't rush it. Just plan it, man. Because once you move to the Philippines, especially if you're all in, there ain't no going back to the U.S. So you want to make sure, because the average person that comes out to the Philippines will last anywhere from 3.5 to 5 years. Then they got to go back to their home country. And usually the three reasons why people go back to their home country, one is they run out of money, financial. It could be for health reasons, or generally, the third reason could be a breakup with their spouse, something like that. So that's the three main reasons. So again, really plan it out well. Make sure that the Philippines is for you. So you want to make a few trips and make sure that this is a country that you could live in, because it doesn't have all the amenities that you're going to get in your home country. But again, you may not be the kind of guy that needs all these amenities that we have in our in the U.S. or the Europe or whatever. So again, check out this country before you actually move out here. Keep some time before you really make that big move.
Right. Tell them the name of your channel and what your channel is about. And then we'll turn it over to Calvin.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my channel name is Philippines and Beyond, and it's basically I have a couple different kind of topics. If you are coming to the Philippines to marry a Filipina, U.S. Or maybe even Vietnam or any country, you're an American, you want to take it back to the U.S. I've got all the videos, every videos from beginning of the process all the way till your spouse gets their citizenship. They're all online. They're for free. You can check them out, and you can do the process yourself. And I also have a bunch of other videos on how to help you get ready to make the move to the Philippines, like banking and stuff like that. So that kind of videos are available for you as well. And just some stuff about Dumaguete, around here, what's going on here in Dumaguete. So a little bit of everything.
All right. All right, Calvin.
Hey, I just want to give a shout out to that Philippine and Beyond guy. I don't know your name, and I apologize.
Oh, Jerry.
Because
Jerry.
he said a lot of great things, man. A lot of things that I echo, especially about the business and especially about coming over here to see if the Philippines is for you. Because, I've been over here a long time. And I tell you what, it takes a special American to stay here. Most Americans, and I don't know about anybody else, but most Americans, they can't stay here anywhere near 2 years. We have to give up too much to come here to the Philippines. He was talking about the amenities. He's right. They're not here what we're used to. See, a lot of people, especially Americans, man, we're set in our ways. We want what we want. We used to having what we want when we want it. And when we come over here to the Philippines, man, it's like night and day. So, yeah, the brother's right. Come over here, stay a little while, see if this is for you, because it's not for everybody. But on that same note, if it is for you, like it is for me, and it fits like a glove, because sometimes, man, I be thinking, man, like, I'm from the Philippines, man. This could be a utopia, like it is for me. And I'm just speaking for myself. you know. But I just want to say, brothers, when you come over here, just be a decent human being, man. These are people. These aren't aliens. They didn't drop out of the sky or anything. You know, just use that same common sense and decency that that you use in America. Just use it over here, man. It'll go a long way over here. You know, bring enough money, where if there's an emergency, see, I've got income coming in every month, enough to keep me here for the rest of my life if I wanted to, and especially if I want to retire at 62, which I think I am. But
I would recommend that.
That's really all I have to say. But I really
all right. I want to thank.
Give a shout out to Philippines and beyond.
Yeah, once again, shout out to Philippines and beyond, Jared, for joining us on the panel tonight. I really appreciate you coming through and sharing some knowledge. Also to my co-host, as always, great to have you, Calvin. I enjoy working with you. And we're going to go some great places. A whole lot of people going to learn a whole lot of stuff through these teachings. So and I appreciate you guys that join us. Make sure you share the video and like it. We do this every Tuesday night. The Life and Love of the Philippines show. And next week, we're going to be talking about the age differences in the relationship. Age differences in relationship. Advantages and the disadvantages of. So make sure y'all join us for that show. It's going to be another great show. And again, thank you to all you guys, everybody that's joining us. Make sure y'all smash that like button and share this video. And tell a friend to join us until we meet again. On that note, peace out, everybody. See y'all next week.
Take care. See you,
Thanks, man. Take care.